Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 897 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the show. Again, 897, just 3 more days in the season 8 of the Two Dum Yinzers. We'll be wrapping that up this week and breaking into season 9. 9, and then only just 100 more shows after that. So the big 1,000. Very exciting. A lot of big things going on this year for the Two Dum Yinzers. Glad to see everybody back this afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see everybody on the board. Everybody's fired up, I think, in a way. A lot of things to talk about. Of course, we have a Super Bowl set. That's right. There is one professional NFL football game left in the season. That's going to be played 2 weeks from yesterday, February 8th. The New England Patriots are going to be taking on the Seattle Seahawks for the see who will be the winner of Super Bowl 60. Another rematch in the Super Bowl. This one, the last time that we've seen it play out, Marshawn Lynch didn't get a carry at the end of the game, maybe when he should have and could have possibly won that game. Instead, an interception was thrown by former Steeler quarterback Russell Wilson inside the 10-yard line, leading to an interception that did allow the New England Patriots to win that football game 28-24. We get to watch it play out all over again, just in case you missed that one. We get to watch it play out all over again. A lot to talk about going on with that game, heading into Super Bowl 60. Also, some other big news here in Pittsburgh. I think everybody's, again, I don't know if people really know how to respond or react or feel or think or know what the hell to make of what just happened. Of course, today the Rams assistants are available to interview. And the Steelers did make a decision a couple days ago to hire a head coach before that even came to fruition, guys, as the Steelers, in fact, did hire Pittsburgh native Mike McCarthy. And a lot is to be said about that. There's a lot of opinions one way, a lot of opinions the other way. And again, there's some people that are just shrugging their shoulders. They don't know what to think about this recent hire, guys, with Mike McCarthy taking over the role as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach moving forward on a 5-year deal. That's right, already locked in on a 5-year deal. So a lot to get into, guys. Also, a new addition to the Ohio State football team. They get a nice addition to their offense. We'll get into that and a lot more today. Guys, good morning. Welcome back to the show. Good afternoon, wherever you may be. Glad to see everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Let's start on the board here. It's bright and early. It's Monday. It's snowy. We're all shoveling ourselves out of our parking lots, our houses, our streets, and everything else, guys. I don't know about you, but I've been shitting up a storm. There's something about these storms. Apparently, you have to go out and get your toilet paper. I shat extra much over this weekend just because it was snowing. Just kidding. I didn't do anything different than I normally do, and I'm just fine. And here we are getting ready to start a whole new week of the Two Dum Yinzers, guys. Welcome back to the show. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Let me start on the board and say what's up to everybody. Good morning. Great to see everybody. Miss Pittsburgh, always great to see Miss Pittsburgh in the house. Miss Pittsburgh says, here we go, Steelers Nation. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Miss Pittsburgh. Always great seeing you. And as you can see on your board, when you come in, there is a poll. Feel free to take the poll. The poll is this morning: did the Steelers make the right hire? Talking, of course, about the head coaching position in the hiring of Mike McCarthy. Take a moment, if you will. We'll get the results out later on. Just take a moment. Click yes or click no, whatever you think. If you're just interested, I'm interested to see what everybody thinks. Miss Pittsburgh says, let's go, baby. That's right, let's go. I'm back here. You're back here, everybody. It's time to do this thing. Good morning to Steeler Freak, my man John from all the way out in Las Vegas. John says the other younger contenders wanted to pick their own assistants, their own staff, a new facility. Mike McCarthy just wanted a McDonald's at the cafeteria in the Steelers, so we could do that. We could add a McDonald's. That is a lot cheaper and easier than all those other things. Good morning to you, John. Just learning. Good morning. Good afternoon to you as well. He says McCarthy was handcuffed by Jerry Jones. He's a good coach. I don't disagree. But again, we'll get into it in so much more detail throughout today. Good morning to you, Just Learning, or good afternoon, wherever you are from as well. John, I know you're out west. You get the good morning, Just Learning. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Also, Richard, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Richard on the terrible board. Richard says this, good morning. All that happens in a weekend when nothing wasn't supposed to happen. We were all just supposed to be snowed in, be miserable, eat all of our bread and milk, and use our toilet paper, but again, it was a lot of other things. And like I said, I barely used any toilet paper, so go figure. Good morning, good afternoon to you, Richard. Always great seeing you. Tortilla, my man, all the way from Sacramento, California. He says Mike McCarthy was going to sign with the Two Dum Yinzers, but Ryan didn't fire Derpy. You know what? Isn't it funny how the timeline on that worked out? Isn't it funny? Good morning, good afternoon. Good morning to you, Tortilla. Ty, my guy, what's up, brother? Always great seeing the great Tyrone, the GOAT. Always great seeing Tyrone on the terrible board. My man, we're gonna be getting together for the draft. I was thinking about this and I was talking to Mike over the weekend. We were really excited actually about getting together with everybody for this draft. It's gonna be a blast, of course, in Pittsburgh. RB, what's up, bro? Always great seeing the great RB also on the terrible board. He says this: I don't like the McCarthy hire. I wanted more. Big to be honest, I'm nowhere near as outraged as everyone else. Still want to see the staff. I hear Shieldhouse is an option for C. Of course, that's what I'm hearing too. So again, we'll get into it all. But yes, great points. Always great to see RB this afternoon. Tortilla Jackson, brother, what's going on, my man? Tortilla says this: I'll give Mike McCarthy a chance. We just need a good defensive coordinator. Mike McCarthy can run an offense and hopefully develop our next quarterback. Just fix a few things and we could be really good. RB, he says, same with Kingsbury, sorry. Steeler Freak John, my man John says this: Art, hold the nation to the shut the fuck up and buy merchandise tickets. Basically. Also, John follows it up by saying, I stopped giving Steelers my emotions years ago. Next, it'll be my money. RB says, I will be convinced we are mailing it in as it's Van Dyke or another dinosaur offensive coordinator. I've also been told Dick LeBeau, fire zone guy, could be defensive coordinator. Larry Foote's name has come up. Heard Larry Foote's name a couple times. That's true. Somber also says, has anyone stepped down from the ledge? I don't know. I'm very curious. Again, this morning, I don't know what to expect. I come in figuring that we might be on the ledge a little bit here, but we're gonna find out what the hell's going on with Steeler Nation today. Great seeing you, Somber. I hope you had a great weekend. Tortilla says, I won't judge what they're doing until we see how it looks. They went out and got an old offensive guy. Can't say they aren't doing something different. I guess you could say that. Tyrone, he also says this: Mike McCarthy wasn't my first choice, but I think he at least is an offensive-minded coach and will help Howard get developed. And I keep reading that his work with quarterbacks has been well in the past. He's worked with some greats and some good ones, and of course we'll get into that a lot more. Also, Tortilla says this: Mike McCarthy shouldn't be here too long. Corey, I'm sorry, don't drink that 25. Corey Beaver says this: we're going to be effing trash. We constantly make stupid ass decisions. We're going to be slowly going downhill since Mr. Rooney passed away. Our championship culture died with him. This team makes no sense. Jolly Mon, Jolly, what's up? Always great seeing Jolly Mon on the terrible board. He says, looks like a big mistake. Tyrone says this, shaking my head. Arthur Smith, I can't wait. Some of the best news that I did receive all weekend was that Arthur Smith news. We'll get to that here shortly as well. Somber says this: Ohio State fans are sick to their stomachs, and I love it. I love it. I love it. 1 year removed from the national championship title, and they say to themselves, they see Arthur Smith and they say, I got to have me some of that. Say bye-bye to wide receiver you. Say hello to tight end you, perhaps, in Ohio State. Tortilla says, we have no clue what we were going to be if we were being real. Everyone is emotional right now. I get it. This isn't a bad hire. He's a good offensive guy. Y'all screamed offensive guy. Tyrone says, Somber, shaking my head, man. TC, what's up, dude? Always great seeing TC on the terrible board. My man, my neighbor. TC, hope you had a great weekend. Hope you stayed warm. Jolly Mon, Jolly. Hello, friends. Always great to see Jolly Mon on the board. Always great to see Jolly Mon on the terrible board. Hope you had a great weekend as well, my friend. Steeler Freak John. John says, Milkshake Mike got a 5-year contract. Rooney doesn't fire, remember? Somber, nobody screams 62-year-old offensive guy. Laugh my ass off. TC says, just got done. Dude, shoveling the snow. This is terrible. It's just so much. There's just so much. Mark Malone. What up, brother? Always great to see Mark Malone. He says, Big Daddy Yinzer's coming home, baby. That's right, Big Daddy Yinzer. Mark Malone, I'm sorry, Somber, 67 years old, and in 2031 is when his contract will be up. Just learning. Says this, Teos, New Mexico, where there are no babes. Tortilla, yeah, it's not the ideal hire, but it's not the same thing we always do. M. Sparks, what's good, brother? He says, what's good in the neighborhood? Yins, Pittsburgh Steelers for life. Great seeing M. Sparks on the board, as always. Hope you had a great weekend and hope you stayed warm. Richard says this: it would have been nice if they would have interviewed some more candidates before they made their decision. I don't disagree with that. Again, unless they had an idea of what it was they wanted to do. I'm just saying, because, again, you hire Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry, you interview Mike McCarthy, and then you interviewed your Rooney Rule picks, or your Rooney Rule guys. So again, as soon as they got what they needed to do as far as interviewing, they made the hire, which made me think this might have been the guy they wanted all along. And again, this doesn't rule out these guys from the Rams that we've been talking about as being hired as coordinators and things like this. Again, so much more to get into, guys. It was a very quick hire, but it did fall into that category of that January 20-something that every single Steeler coach in the Super Bowl era has been hired in that period of time, that January 20-something. It fell into that time period. Again, not getting an opportunity to have these guys from the Rams come up and talk makes me think that they may have already had this idea in their mind that this is who they want to hire. We don't know that for sure, but it sure seems like it. Why wouldn't you want to bring in the guys that you thought were great in the video interviews? So again, it makes you think that maybe, just maybe, something more. They may have had their eye on Mike McCarthy, or I don't know. We're gonna get into it. I want to know your opinion. Again, throw your votes up on the poll there as you come in, guys. You see, did the Steelers make the right hire? Throw yes or no, whether you think yes or no. We're going to get into it today. We're going to figure out what the hell's going on, what's going to happen next, and what we actually have here in front of us. But it was a very quick hire, considering, again, some of these guys weren't even able to come to town yet for interviews. They did do virtuals, but again, you get your interviewing out of the way that you wanted to get done, and then you made that hire, and you didn't get anybody else. Again, a lot to get into. There's a lot to get into, guys. Let me go right here. M. Sparks says we're rolling with Greenfield Mike. That's right. Greenfield Mike, baby. He's here. He's our head coach. Steeler Freak says in 2031 they'll sign Pete Carroll. TC says expect the unexpected. You ain't kidding, TC. Jeez, oh man. I wasn't expecting this. And I made it very clear on the show throughout the weeks that I certainly wasn't Mike McCarthy wasn't my guy. I can be honest with you. Mike McCarthy was not my guy. Yeah, Mike.
You were beating down the drum for Mike McCarthy, bro.
I'm not beating anything. I'm reading.
I'm joking, dude.
I'm looking at the messages.
It was a complete complete and utter shock when I heard the news.
Yeah, I'm just reading through messages. I don't know what you want from me.
I'm just messing with you.
Tortilla says, "What's wrong with finding a quarterback?" Sommer says, "I missed the part where I said there was something wrong with it." Tyrone says, "We'll see with the offseason in the draft." Yeah. Yeah. TC Greenfield is not green pastures. Steeler freak John says, "Let him eat black and gold cake." Mark Malone, that say this is a white Tomlin or high as fuck. This guy is the anti-Tomlin. Interesting. Mark Malone. You can see right below me right here, my name. I changed underneath my name. It says Steelers hired new head coach Dwight Tomlin because I think he is Dwight Tomlin. But you know what? Time will tell. And I will certainly listen to everybody's arguments and debates and statements and go from there. Because again, maybe I don't know. I don't know everything. Christopher, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Christopher on the terrible board. He says, this guy's pump the brakes. Mike McCarthy is a safe hire. His offense has always scored a lot of points. He is an offensive-minded coach who he hires as offensive defensive coordinators may soften the blow. And that's, I think, what a lot of people are ultimately waiting on. Let's see who he hires. What's his staff going to look like? And I think that goes a long way deciding if people are going to be in reality upset or satisfied with this decision. I think when it's all said and done, M. Sparks says this McCarthy is an improvement from the old fish-eyed fool, but that's not saying much. Tortilla says buckle up seems like a bad, kind of like a bad thing. Tyrone says shaking my head, man. They be OSU got way more talent than our offense will ever see. Somber says buckle up. I mean, meaning I hope he finds one. Somber follows it up by saying, if not, then kicking the can down the road, I guess. Corey says this. I wonder if they just wanted him to come in and grab a quarterback so the next guy could come in and make him something. He doesn't know how to draft and coach quarterbacks. Sean Payton's ego came back to haunt him, TC says. Of course, the Broncos shooting themselves in the foot. Would you just kick the field goal on fourth down? Is there a problem in this league that is wrong with people's heads that they can't kick field goals on fourth down? This isn't high school. This isn't college. There's a lot of black and white in the NFL, and a lot of time that you take them points, especially in close, high-profile, tough defensive games. You don't piss around. You get your points, and you let them start stacking. That's just the way you play those kind of games. Denver shoots themselves in the foot by not kicking a field goal early. A bunch of wide rights throughout the course of the game and a wide left to finish it off. But it's ultimately the New England Patriots do win that. We'll go over those games here shortly. Grab one. We'll go back right here. All right. Tyrone says this. Yes, Somber wants a QB trust. LOL. Corey says if they waited until today, they could have had Shula. That's what I'm saying. Makes you think that this might have been the guy that they had their eyes on. Because, everybody kind of knew that Seattle could probably win this football game. There's a good chance that the Rams were going to be available. And again, I learned last week, they were still going to be available to do more interviewing this week between the 2 weeks between now and the Super Bowl. So again, it makes you wonder, guys. Don't drink that. Says if they could add Shola Sommer if he doesn't hire an OC. That's when I worry. Tyrone says it is what it is. I got my support. Just change things, Mike. M. Sparks says, ditto, fellow Yinzer. Ryan, stay warm, bro. I hope this is it for the year. I don't know if we could do another one of these storms. I just don't know. I don't know if we can handle it, but we will. But again, this was a doozy. This was a doozy. Tyrone says maybe Shola and Nate ain't want to be a Steeler. Maybe they didn't. That's true. That's true. And we also did hear that another person, the offensive coordinator from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Grant Yudlisky, he did inform the Browns that he is removing himself from their head coach position search. Another player bouncing and dropping out of the Cleveland Browns head coach search, guys. Again, the offensive coordinator from the Jaguars saying, no, I think I'm going to go back to Jacksonville and work on a contract. Getting a hold of Cleveland saying I'm not interested anymore. So again, another coach, potential coach for Cleveland, bowing out. Nobody wants to get involved in that mess. Say what you want about us. We're in a mess right now. But that's all it is. It's a mess. They are a mess. That's the difference. The Browns are a mess. We're in a mess. Big difference. Great seeing Lindsay. Lindsay, great seeing you this afternoon. As always, hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you kept warm and all the other stuff. Maybe had extra toilet paper and bread and milk and all those things. Jolly Mon, Steelers don't fire, so he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire when he's 90. My God. Somber says they were both interested, and that's what I thought too. I remember hearing they were both interested at some point to some capacity. So maybe this coordinator assistant coach thing might play out for us here again. Now they have these guys are available to talk. A couple days after we hire Coach McCarthy. It's going to take a while to get used to saying, but there it is, Coach McCarthy. Tortilla says this: we haven't screwed up a head coach hire before. I'll wait until we play a few games before I say it's a bad hire. Excuse me. Mark Malone says we need to get Jim Bob Cooter for offensive coordinator. Tyrone, we need a good defensive coordinator. Sorry. Somber says he wants to, but should he is the question. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Tyrone says Steeler Freak says the young guys the young guys had a want if hired list. Okay, and Mike McCarthy didn't. Okay, gotcha. Art went with the cheap and the safe option. I'm amazed but not surprised. And a lot of other things was too. I mean, a lot of things that I think, John, you said right off the cap was, we don't have an updated facility. It grades last in the league. It's always in the bottom part of the league. Every year they do this. And how much did that play into it? I don't know if any, but you know what? It certainly could have. Again, maybe not updating our facilities and having things up to date. That plays a role with some of these younger guys that, again, don't know any different. Mike McCarthy's been around for a while. He's seen locker rooms when they look like they look now, and he's seen locker rooms when they look like when they were, when he was a kid, and they, were made out of all wood in the 50s or whenever the hell it was, 40s, 60s, 70s. But does that play a role? I don't know. I don't know how much of a role that plays when picking your job as a coach, but I guess it could. I don't know. Let's scoot forward here a little bit. M. Spark says this. He says, I hated the McCarthy choice at first, but after giving it some thought, it makes sense. Let's go, homeboy, from the 412. Let's do it, baby. Lindsay says, yeah, I'm not happy about it. Not a lot to be thrilled about this weekend. Some of the news with the Steelers and the Patriots going back to the Super Bowl and the snowstorm and everything else wasn't exactly the most fantastic weekend, but here we are, guys. Glad to see everybody back. Tortilla says this, or here's a crazy idea. I don't know. Maybe they liked what he said, and they liked what he said more. Sorry. Somber says, I'm curious to know. Oh, where'd it go? Where did it go on me? I'm curious to know how the locker room feels about it. And we do know this tomorrow. Mike McCarthy will be doing his first press conference. So, guys, you might want to pay attention. I think it's probably going to be, I would guess. I don't know details. I didn't hear, but I do know it's tomorrow. I guess it's roughly going to be around the time they would usually do the MT press conference. Coach Tomlin, of course. So maybe we'll have all the updated information as it's happening real time, just depending on what time it goes down tomorrow. But the first Mike McCarthy head coach press conference with the Steelers is officially tomorrow, guys. If I find out any more information
I saw 2 p.m. Ryan.
By the end of the show, I'll certainly let you know. Mike is saying he saw 2 p.m. So it will certainly happen during this show. At some point, we'll certainly keep you up to date minute by minute as that's happening. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. Tyrone says, just learning, says Anthony Richardson to the Steelers? Question mark.
Oh,
also,
God, no.
Mark Malone, Big Daddy Yinzer will use the middle of the field. Unlike Tomlin, Big Daddy Yinzer will score points. Unlike Tomlin, Big Daddy Yinzer will win playoff games with his own players like Tomlin. Tortilla says Richardson ain't going to be in the league in a few years. Tyrone says, Ryan, would you take this? I'm impressed. I like that kid from Mississippi. I do. I mean, there's a handful of guys I like. There's nothing, that's really knocking the ball out of the park as far as these quarterbacks coming out. There's a couple of guys, obviously, that's going to go in the first round. Beyond that, I don't know much what you have, but I got to be honest. I did like the kid from Ole Miss. So again, we're going to get into that whole process too. We have the draft is coming up, guys, and we're going to have a whole draft season here on the show, trying to figure out what the hell the Steelers are going to do. So again, it's all plays together. Let's try to figure out what's inside the head of Coach McCarthy and try to figure out which direction we're going to go. Again, it seems that people are somewhat optimistic again, but on the other hand, they're just kind of scratching their heads because it was kind of put in our heads that they were going to go younger and more innovative and kind of what we've been saying here on the show all along. And so again, we're still kind of scratching our heads, figuring out what's going on. But at the end of the day, I guess it's not the worst pick. It could have been a lot worse. The hire could have been a lot worse. Well, let me get through some more messages. We'll get into all this, guys. We really will. Let's go Seahawks. This is what Corey is saying. Absolutely. Here's the thing about New England, guys. New England, of course, is going back to their 12th Super Bowl. Let me ask you this. They're 6-5. if the New England Patriots lose this Super Bowl, which is very possible, Seattle's amazing. They look really good this year. If New England loses this Super Bowl and they fall to 6-6, does that start to saturate them being a 6-time Super Bowl winner? I mean, you can't take it away from them, of course. But if you have 6 losses along with your 6 wins, and people will say, well, they've been to the Super Bowl so many times, that's an accomplishment. But you know what? So the Buffalo Bills, they went 4 years in a row, and you know what? That's not an accomplishment when you don't win. So at the end of the day, for you guys, is it saturate the fact that they have 6 Super Bowl wins by the fact that they can very well in less than 2 weeks have 6 Super Bowl losses? I'm just kind of curious on what you think of that. You tend to look at those teams with 6 wins. You say, well, my team has 6 wins in the Super Bowl, which we get to do. But when you have 6 losses weighing you down, does it really feel the same? I don't know. Again, the winning percentage certainly that drops as we still sit at I don't know, what are we about 800 or whatever the hell it is. In the Super Bowl, theirs certainly has dropped again. They could fall to 6-6 in the Super Bowl. Again, not very impressive when you just look at it. But yes, they do have 6 wins, so I guess that is. So let me move on. A lot to get into this week. So much to get into this week, as a matter of fact. It doesn't look like the news is ever going to stop, and that's just fine, guys. Let me get to the next message here. I'm going to go right here. Tortilla says, yeah, at least we'll go 500 in the playoffs as well as regular season. Mark Malone, I told you he made the most sense. Steeler Freak says, I see the offseason fantasy statements are out. Go figure. Tyrone says, Ryan, we got 17-inch. Oh, my God. And today I think we're going to get 13. My goodness. That's like a little person almost. Somber says this was 100% to keep butts in seats, move from AR2 while simultaneously trying to find a franchise quarterback. McCarthy has 5 years to find a guy. If we win in that time, great. Somber follows it up by saying, just find us the quarterback, white Mike Tomlin. Jeremy Olsen, great to see you on the board. Jeremy says this, I'm super excited about this. 100% since the plan is to develop Howard after being mentored by Rodgers for a year, he will be a top 10 QB. Tyrone says facts. I don't hate it, but I don't like. We'll see. We have to wait this thing out, guys. Again, if you're just coming in, dude, put your opinion on the board on the poll. I'm sorry, there is a poll when you come in. Dude, did the Steelers make the right hire? I want to know what you guys think. Yes, no, maybe so. Throw it up there when you come in today. Let's go right here. Mark Malone also says this. If you didn't have to live in Cleveland, the Browns head coach job would be a great opportunity. Talk about having a small shoes to fill. Jeez. Steeler Freak says the great white dope. Tyrone, I want to roll with Howard. And you know what? I think that's ultimately going to be the move. I do. I think that Will Howard is going to be the move. And should it? Maybe. Possibly. Somber says, I don't care who it is, honestly. Lindsay says, can't wait to get the F out of this house. Jeremy says this. Jeremy says, John Gruden for OC. I don't love John Gruden, but you know what? That's just my opinion. That doesn't mean anything. And again, John Gruden, Tyrone is saying, John Gruden, no thank you. Mark Malone says, Lindsay, we didn't get a ton of snow here, but it's colder than an MFer out there in the Midwest for Mark Malone. Tortilla says, Gruden could be the mascot. He could be our Chucky mascot. M. Sparks, I'm damn sure would make it a priority to pick the Ole Miss quarterback on the sneak tip in the 3rd round. That boy's a winner and got mad talent, both able to run pass, read defense. This kid got a good football IQ. That's always a huge plus. Of course, Lindsay says, yeah, Tyrone, I'm working at home. This is insane. Can't be doing shit. Just stuck. I hate it. You know what? I agree. Tyrone says, I'm not thrilled, but don't hate it for real. Lindsay says, Mark, we did LOL. I'm over. Steeler Freak says, I saw SoFi. It means a lot. Players are humans and want the best, and more importantly, what others like them have if sexy. Tyrone says, tomorrow press conference. Let's go. That's right, guys. 2:00. Mike is saying he's seeing 2:00 tomorrow, the Mike McCarthy press conference, guys. So we will catch part of it maybe in whole. Who knows by the time we go off, because these press conferences aren't hours and hours. It could very well happen in our time frame. And if it does, we'll have it all right here and all the most up-to-date information live as it goes down real time. Jeremy says this. Jeremy says McCarthy said he plans to develop Howard 100%. He loves his upside potential. That's what I'm reading too. So that's what's ultimately making me think that unless other things happen in the meantime, that's probably how it's going to play out. We're going to see Will Howard get a stab at it this year. under Mike McCarthy. That seems to be the game plan. Again, we're only 2 days into having a brand new head coach here for the Steelers. Again, Mike McCarthy, Greenfield zone, Pittsburgh zone. Mike McCarthy, guys, is the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people, again, still trying to make sense of it. They don't know if they like it. They don't know if they dislike it. They don't know if other people like it. They don't know how to feel, maybe because other people don't know how to feel, and they're just trying to get a feel. So, again, it's all understandable. We don't do this often here in Pittsburgh, and if you're my age, you've only seen it done 3 times in your life. And one of them being as current as this weekend. So, again, we're feeling this out just like they are. Lindsay says, Tyrone, you excited for this BS? Tyrone says, yes, sir. If he could help Howard. I guess ultimately, at the end of the day, that's the best answer to give. I mean, if he could help the young quarterback along and be productive and try to move in the right direction, I guess it ain't a wrong move. But at the end of the day, again, I think a lot of people had their eyes on maybe a younger guy that could be here for a while, maybe kind of transform the and I hate to use this word because people misconstrue what people say, but just the culture of the Steelers football team itself, and kind of get them moving in a direction where you're constantly progressing opposed to running in place. And again, I find, and I've always said it the whole way through this campaign anyway, was that Mike McCarthy is very similar to Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh. I put these 3 guys into the same group. I kind of use them as guys that the league passed them by. And I also made the point to say I think they could be solid. I said that Harbaugh could be solid in New York. I said that, Tomlin, I hope that he's solid wherever he goes. And I think they could be solid coaches in this league. It just really feels that the league has passed them by, and they're having a tough time keeping up with the way that the league changes constantly. And it certainly has over the past 5 years for sure. And you're seeing from those 3 coaches, again, success 15 years ago, all 3 of them winning Super Bowls, Harbaugh, Tomlin, McCarthy, and then a long period of mediocrity. So, I mean, we don't even have to listen. You don't even have to get rid of your mediocre Mike T-shirts and hats that you have. You could just continue to wear your mediocre Mike garb that you may have until at least we see. We don't know what's going to go down. But again, a lot of speculation says this is going to be a lot of the same. A lot of speculation say this is going to be a lot different. So again, we're here for the ride no matter how it goes. Again, I think the big story right now is finding out who in the world can possibly be this team's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, all the assistants, all those hires coming next. And that's going to play a big role. So again, it's hard to get too upset just yet. You know what you wanted. You know where you felt that the team needed to go. You see what we got. Let's see if that all kind of gets played into it. Let's see if maybe these guys become our coordinators, maybe some of the people that we were interested in for head coach, and possibly part of a bigger plan. Keep Tomlin around for McCarthy around for X amount of time, see what he could do with the quarterback, the offense. He's an offensive mind, this whole thing. And then maybe work Nate Schilhaas, who you bring in as your offensive coordinator, into your head coaching job eventually. I'm reading last week, he wasn't quite ready to be a head coach in the league. Maybe this played a part. We don't know yet, guys. Again, the Steelers make their hire over the weekend. Mike McCarthy is the Steelers' new head coach. So let me continue on. I'm going to try not to get buried on the board today. I'll do my best. Get into some topics here in just a moment. I'm going to go right here to Corey. Corey Beaver says this on Don't Drink That. I'd rather eat yellow snow than have Richardson a quarterback. Jeremy Olson says this. We're going to get Lemon first round. And you know what? I would love Malachi Lemon, of course. Beast. USC? Tyrone, I just can't write him off yet. That's what I'm saying. It's not right to write him off just yet. And and I said this every year when it all came down to it, I said, I'm going to stand behind my coach, whoever it is. And I'm going to stand behind my quarterback, whoever it is. And the bottom line, I'm going to every week, week in, week out. I mean, I see people bailing out, making comments like, I'm done with this team. I'm done. They don't know what they're doing. I'm done. I'm going to a new team. And that's it. That's not me at all. I will stand behind our quarterback and our coach, and I'll give them my complete honest assessment of how I think they look, and then moving forward, if they how things should go again on that. So again, at the end of the day, he is the new head coach, like it or not. Again, I don't know if many people do. I don't know. Again, you're seeing a lot of mixed opinions, I guess, at the end of the day, but still a lot to find out. These coordinators are going to be a big part, I think, if people truly start getting excited about what it is we have going on. I think that is a big part moving forward, like getting some coordinators hired here for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to wait till I give my final judgment. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not underwhelmed with the hire. I'm just whelmed. I want to see what kind of staff he's going to put together. What quarterback they're going to go with. He helped with the development of Aaron Rodgers. They won 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl together. He helped develop Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott's best years were with him as head coach. Finished second in MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson 2 years ago. So his offenses, or he has a good track record of working with quarterbacks, getting the most out of them. Of course, Aaron Rodgers was a first round pick. You kind of expect Aaron Rodgers to have a good career. Dak Prescott was a third round pick, I believe, third or
Yeah.
fourth round.
Yeah,
You don't expect that from this guy. Okay, so he was able to find and work with him in that offense, and that offense down in Dallas is still modeled off of what he put down there. It's a high scoring offense, so that gives me a little hope there too, that he's always had really good offenses, been able to develop quarterbacks. But who we're going to get at quarterback? Is it going to be Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, Aaron Rodgers again, a Malik Willis, a Mac Jones, a Will Levis type guy? That's what I want to see.
Mac Jones is out. I read over
Mac
the
Jones is
weekend.
out?
Yes, he's out. He's no longer. I think that he said he's not either interested or not playing for the Steelers or not leaving. But I did read that he's out.
Yeah. So I just don't know where they're going there. I want to see the totality of the picture, so I can get a sense of what their whole plan going forward is. Because Art does not want to tank. He said that he does not want to tank, does not want to lose, wants to keep trying to win as many games every year as we can. So, okay, who's that going to be at quarterback? What veteran retread are we going to get? Or are we going to trade up and try and get a quarterback in the first round? But outside of Mendoza, I don't think there's anyone really you should take in the first round. So it's going to be interesting. I want to see a whole lot of stuff to see how well this hire will actually be.
Yeah, there's a lot. And you know what? And here's something just to be funny. And it's serious, but it's to be funny. Joe Flacco. He comes out over the weekend saying he is willing to be the Steelers quarterback, to play for the Steelers, to complete the quadfecta, whatever the hell it would be, playing for all 4 teams in the division, the quadfecta. There you go. Joe Flacco said that he would be more than happy to play quarterback for the Steelers, guys. So, Mike, there you go.
Let's sign him for a game, let him get a snap, and call it a day.
Yeah, let him do his thing. I'm seeing right here, and I am going to go back just because of what I'm seeing in front of me. I do have to say this, that the Shrine Bowl is tomorrow, and also the Senior Bowl is Saturday, guys. So that's going to be a lot of opportunities to sit back and watch a lot of these young kids play, get out there, do what they do, and show what they got. So again, the Shrine Bowl tomorrow. And again, the Senior Bowl is Saturday, so we'll be talking about those as the week goes on. But like I said, give yourself an opportunity to check these guys out. It's going to be certainly very important comparing to what we're doing, and certainly moving forward here with this football team. Some of these young guys, quarterbacks, other things like this we're going to need. So those things are coming up. You don't want to miss those if you don't have to. Let me take a look at a couple things here. All right, so Mike McCarthy, of course he was from Greenfield. He was a Pitt graduate. I like that. I'm a Pitt guy. You can't don't hang me. Don't he's a Pitt graduate. He worked overnight collecting tolls on the turnpike as a youngster. His father was a firefighter, and he owned a bar that Mike cleaned on Sundays before church. Mike is a Pittsburgh guy through and through. So for that matter, I like it. Listen. I'm from Pittsburgh. I can't not like those things. They do ring home to me. And again, it's something everybody finds something about everybody that they like differently. But he does truly feel like somebody that grew up down the street from me in my neighborhood. And I know a lot of people just like him. So again, in that sense, for me personally, and I'm not pushing that upon anybody else. I'm not saying you should like him for these reasons. I'm saying that that's some of the things that they kind of make me comfortable. With the man himself. Again, some people, you don't have any idea who they are. You don't know anything about their background. But and should that mean anything? I don't know. I don't know if it should or if it shouldn't, whatever. But just saying it does in that sense. But again, that means nothing in my opinion of the way this football team should go and move forward and try to continue to do what they need to do to win. But just, like that, just that alone, it kind of sits with me. But I'm a Yinzer. I'm a homer. Don't shoot me on that. Also, what else do we got here? Yeah, I'm going to pull that up just here real quickly. There, of course, is this comparison, and it's very similar. Very similar that when you look back at Coach Tomlin, when you're looking at these numbers, the records, the playoff success, everything, the Super Bowls, that's another thing. Mike Tomlin, he's almost the offensive-minded Mike Tomlin, or Mike Tomlin will be the defensive-minded Mike McCarthy. In my opinion, again, I may learn a lot about Mike McCarthy as we move on. The way that I've seen him over the years is he seemed as he just fell in that group of the Tomlins, Harbaughs, and McCarthys. I've been putting them together in a group for some time, and that's just kind of how I've been rolling. And if I could ever find These comparisons, they're very close, and again, almost as if you're looking at the same guy's record. And for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time pulling it up at the moment. I've seen it 53 times over the weekend. I'll get back to it as soon as I do run across it here. Let's see. Mike McCarthy is the oldest coach the Steelers ever hired, of course. And also, if you're wondering what the competition out there was like with the Steelers for Coach McCarthy, the only team that had any interest in him was the Tennessee Titans. And this is the team that was going to bring back, that was interested in bringing back Arthur Smith. And one thing I do want to say about that real quick, about Arthur Smith and being his great offensive coordinator, the great success in Tennessee. Notice the head coach in Tennessee went and took a team that was 4-13 last year to the Super Bowl. I don't think maybe Arthur Smith should be getting as much credit as he gets. I'm just saying the head coach that was in Tennessee made that team good with the running back. The running back goes on. He's still successful. Mike Vrabel goes to New England. He takes the team to a Super Bowl in his first year after they go 4-13 last year. Maybe Arthur Smith wasn't that great of a coordinator, but we will find out, as he did take the job for Ohio State. That's right, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I hope you're happy. I hope you like your new pickup. They did, in fact, pick up Arthur Smith for their offensive coordinator. Yeah, my good.
Yeah, I think after both hires, I think we are on Derpy suicide watch.
I requested for a welfare check on Derpy over the weekend. Certainly, he wasn't happy about the head coaching choice, and after that, he certainly wasn't happy about Arthur Smith, of course, becoming his new offensive coordinator at his beloved Ohio State, which I found was the best thing that I heard all weekend.
Same here.
But at the end of the day, certainly, let's watch wide receiver you turn into tight end you. I would love that more than anything.
Every wide receiver is going to decommit.
They're going to be all tight. They're going to be all tight ends.
For them to enter the portal, I think, right now, so they're screwed.
Yeah. All right, here it is. I found it, guys. So in 19 seasons, Coach T, his record was this. It was 193, 114-2. Coach M, his record was 174, 112-2 in 18 seasons. So one more season. Coach T head coached, then Coach M. So again, 19 seasons, 193, 114-2. Coach M, 18 seasons, 174, 112-2. Winning percentage for Coach T, 628. Winning percentage for Coach M, 608. Playoff record, Coach T, 8-12. Coach M, 11-11. Division wins. Coach T, 8. Coach M, 8. And Super Bowls, Coach T wins, and Coach M won. So to me, it really feels like it's an offensive. It feels like it's the offensive Tomlin to me. It just does. Again, the records, the numbers, the statistics, just the way you watch their career play out. Again, they both haven't seen a Super Bowl since 2011, and it was against one another. So we're going to have to wait this out. I know people don't love it. I don't know. I don't know if people hate it. I just know people are kind of confused right now. And again, I think we had our mind on other things, and that just unfortunately wasn't how it worked. But the next steps can make it right. Let's see who we hire. Again, Coach M, his press conference tomorrow at 2:00, his first press conference as a Steeler head coach. I can't wait to hear what Coach M has to say tomorrow. But again, at the end of the day, am I jumping up and down about this decision? I'm not. Am I going to accept it? I am. As I accepted every quarterback that I didn't really care for at the time, and every coach and every whatever the situation was. He's our coach, and it is what it is for now. And again, these next steps are very vital to figure out what the hell this team is going to do next. I don't know. Again, we all have our thoughts and opinions, but at the end of the day, that didn't quite play out how it played out, how we thought it was going to play out over the weekend. Again, I thought they were at least going to get through some Rams interviews with these younger guys, not how it played out. And here we are. So this next round, getting our offensive and defensive and all the assistant coaches figured out, that is going to be a big part of how things are going to go for Pittsburgh. Let me take a look what else we got here. Right here. How about, what do you guys think about? I don't want this at all. They keep saying this like it's a good thing. Bring back Aaron Rodgers. Bring back Aaron Rodgers. Reunite him with Mike McCarthy. Why don't you just change our whole uniforms to Green Bay Packer uniforms? Just to, I mean, how much more of that 11 Packers team that beat us in the Super Bowl do you want to see? We got their coach. We have their quarterback. I mean, I think Clay Matthews is getting up in age. Why don't we go grab him as well? And we could be the Packers. Listen, if we have enough guys from that team, it's basically like we won that Super Bowl. Just kidding, obviously, but seriously, guys, seriously, I am out on the Aaron Rodgers thing. I think we have to move forward. I think that this has to start changing in the right direction. And again, I think this is the best opportunity to take a young quarterback, or again, whatever you want to do in the draft. I mean, there's a couple names. And again, if we're not able to shimmy our way up and get a Mendoza, or is there really anything worth it out there? Maybe the kid from Ole Miss. I mean, there's a couple kids that are talented. Drew Allora, I'm not a big fan of, again. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. And all those answers aren't even going to be made until, again, we have coordinators in place and people sitting down trying to figure out which direction this team wants to go. So very interesting. And that's why I said I recommend tomorrow and Saturday to sit back and watch the Shrine Bowl tomorrow and then the Senior Bowl on Saturday, as you're going to get an opportunity to see a lot of these young kids, receivers, quarterbacks, linemen, linebackers, whatever you feel that the Steelers need. We're going to get an opportunity to see who could possibly be a Steeler moving forward with the draft. Guys, just 3 months away. The end of April 23rd. Today is January 26th. So here we are, just about 87 days till the draft right here in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a big day. I hope that they hit a big home run on draft day. Again, I don't know. I don't know if this was a home run that we hit. I know that it's certainly not the most popular pick. I know that Pittsburgh people are going to be okay with it at the end of the day for the most part. Not everybody, but there's going to be a lot of people that do have that the homer bone in them. Like I do. I have the homer bone. And there is a part of me that's I'm okay with it just because of that. And I don't know if that's right. I mean, it's a football team and that has nothing to do with anything. But at the end of the day, the homer in me, I'm okay with it for that reason. But again, that means nothing when it comes out to playing between the lines on Sundays for 60 minutes. So I have to differentiate that for myself, just to kind of keep my head fair in a sense. I can't give this guy the benefit of the doubt just because he's from here. He's got to be held accountable like every other coach and every other person that we want to bring in to do the job to make this team better, Mike.
Yeah, so what I've been thinking about too is, people are saying, oh, this is a bad hire, but a lot of them are also the same people that say this team needs to lose for a few years to gain better draft picks. Well, okay, there you go. We're going to suck with him. Hey, guess what? Now we're picking up high in the draft, which is what some people wanted. Now you're getting that, and you're getting a guy who has proven he can develop quarterbacks. So if he develop Will Howard, we have a couple bad years, and we gain better draft capital, better players by picking up in the top 10 picks of the draft, and then we go on and win and go on a run. Would that not be a good hire then? Because we bottomed out like people wanted, and then we get better talent, and then we go on and win. In hindsight, this would be a good hire.
So what you're saying basically is to fall back into the ebbs and flows of the natural movement of the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we've kind of been in this weird, freakish position that obviously, I mean, being the coach T is the first guy that ever gone that long without having any seasons under 500. We fall in that into a gray area. Mm-hmm. Again, we never were able to get up. We never were able to get low. I'm not saying that his accomplishment is a bad thing. It's an accomplishment. I give that to him, and it's always going to be talked about. But at the end of the day, we're going to be able to fall into that natural ebbs and flows of the NFL that allows you to kind of move along with the rest of the league in a sense, as some of these other teams are doing. They drop, again, Patriots 4-13. They get some players. They get some nice people. They come in, and they're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to their 12th Super Bowl. So again, for that kind of reason, we're not. I mean, I think we're close. It's so hard to tell if we're close or we're far from where we want to get, Mike. But the difference isn't much.
It's not much. But you look at the team. Like we've been talking about for the past couple of seasons, the way they've been building the team. They've been building up, to build the team, then get their quarterback. And you look at the way they've been drafting. If there was a quarterback this year, like a lot of people were hoping, this would be the year to trade up and go get your guy. This year might be the year to use all your draft picks, get a bunch of pieces in place, or trade up in the first round, trade up in the second round, trade up in the third round to get higher quality players to flesh out your roster. Then, develop Will Howard, or you take a step back this year, and the next thing you know, you're drafting in the top 10, and then you can get your quarterback in that draft class. There's a lot of flexibility for what the Steelers can do. It's like, but what are they going to be willing to do? I think this year they were hoping there were going to be a lot of quarterbacks available. They would use all their draft capital this year and a couple picks from next year to move up into the top 10 to get one of these handful of guys that we thought were going to be good and were going to be here. And it turned out a lot of those guys kind of were flat this year, didn't progress as much as they thought. So they're all going back for more experience in college and for the NIL deals. Now quarterbacks are staying in longer. So it kind of, a lot of things went against the Steelers kind of building this team. They thought the way they drafted the free agents, hey, man, we can get another quarterback this year. We have a team in place, hit the ground running. I think they kind of accelerated their plan a year too early, going out and getting all these guys and Aaron Rodgers. But I think they're still on the right track.
And the only way we're going to know is, whenever they step out on the field and play beginning in September. And again, there's a lot that's going to go down between then and now. So it's hard to be entirely discouraged. Again, if you don't love the pickup. And again, there are pros, there are cons, just like anybody. So again, it's where we're at right now, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you're okay with it. And again, whether you're trying to figure out if you like it or not, guys, it's going to be a long ride here. And hopefully this month, next year, it will yield us certainly a first win in the playoffs for quite a few years. That would be a nice start. Not finishing, getting a playoff spot would be a nice start. But a lot of things still have to go down, Mike, as again, you're seeing a lot of these younger, and again, even Sam Darnold at 27 years old, seems like he should be a lot older at this point. A lot of these teams have their younger quarterbacks, and a lot of these teams do have newer coaches that allow them to change things around. And the thing about Mike Vrabel, that guy, he's a teacher. There's just coaches that teach well, and Mike Vrabel certainly falls in that category, and I think that the Patriots got themselves a real one with Mike Vrabel. As you can see, everywhere he goes, success follows him, and I think his time is still yet to come. Vrabel's still a young guy being drafted by the Steelers in 97, still in the big picture, a young guy. I expect Mike Vrabel to have success in New England, and I expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to get back on track to be able to keep them from continuing to have great success moving forward, because if they don't do that, if we ain't the team that steps up and stops this team ultimately, they're going to continue to go to the Super Bowl and win Super Bowls. Why wouldn't they? They've already been to 1 million since the turn of the century. So, guys, again, we have to step up and kind of rightfully take our place back in this league and say, you know what, we're going to be the team that has to stop these Patriots at least sometime, as, again, a couple nice quarterbacks heading to the Super Bowl. We'll get into that so much more as the show goes along. Let's get back on the board here. I know it's moving a lot. It's Monday. It's not after a game, but you know what? It might as well be. Mondays are always booming, especially with the big news. I do want to say welcome to everybody on the show. Do take a moment just to hit the poll when you come in, guys. Do you think the Steelers made the right move? Yes or no? Interested to see what everybody thinks today. Let me jump back on the board here. Ryan McPherson, my man, he says this. I'm amped for Coach McCarthy. No sarcasm. All right, that's good. And again, I can't knock you if you are. I can't knock you if you're not. We're all going to find out. And again, I don't think anybody knows. Everybody has an opinion. But at the end of the day, I guess baby steps. And we'll figure out where we are moving forward. And here's another thing. If we brought in one of those younger guys, there was no guarantee for success. It seemed like the right move. Younger, innovative, but again, we'll have to play it out and watch it play, because some of these other people around the league that I've been saying we're going to be good, people have been telling me that they weren't going to be, and they're in the Super Bowl. I like both of these quarterbacks for years, Sam Darnold and Drake May, and I was told that they weren't this, they weren't that, and here they are facing off after Darnold had a great game. I mean, listen, these are good quarterbacks, guys. We have to be moving in the right direction. We're just not moving in the right direction. Going back after a 43-year-old quarterback and bring him in is not the right direction, in my opinion. Look at what's going on around the league. Get McCarthy in here. Let's get him working with his offense. Let's get some assistant coaches in, figure out what the F we're going to do, and get moving forward. Again, we have games to win. We have playoff games to win. Imagine how big a playoff win will be next year for the Steelers. So again, this could be a big 365 days for this organization and for our team. All this off-season work that needs to be done. We're going to be hiring assistant coaches. We have free agent signings. We have everything with the draft here in Pittsburgh. We have minis and we have rookie camps, and it's going to be jam-packed, guys, all year long, working toward this next Steeler football season. We're here for every minute of it. And again, we thank everybody for being here with us on the show. Thank you for everybody on the board. You guys are killing it. Let me jump right here. I'm gonna try to hang today. I'm gonna try. No promises. Let me go right here to Tortilla. Might as well be excited now. There will be plenty of time to hate if it doesn't work. And at the end of the day, I guess that's, that makes a lot of sense. Tyrone also says, Tyrone says this: we rolled with Mike Tomlin for extra years, give him a chance. And I agree. And I said that too. I said, whoever the new guy is, love him, hate him, whatever, you got to give him a chance. And who knows? Maybe this yields good. Maybe it does. Who knows? We don't know. And again, there's a lot of steps that still have to take place before we even get to September to kick it off. So a lot of things could still happen, people. And again, we could be bringing free agents in and moving people around and freeing up money and picking up other people. So still, it's a lot is going to happen between now and the kickoff in September. Lindsay says, yeah, no, I'm not. Also, Steeler Freak says this shit facility, unwilling to expand the staff. No QB. Yeah, the Steelers are a big catch. Most fans are living off Steeler history before they were born. TC says this. So Mike McDonald is still available. Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel got hired by the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. The Chargers, Mike?
Yeah, Chargers, and yeah. And it was just like he just signed the contract today.
Mike McDaniel is the Chargers offensive coordinator as we speak. Tyrone says, I get it. We're offense minded now. Me too. It's going to be different, right? We've always had defensive minded coaches all the way back since Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. So now it's going to be, it's a different ball game. We'll see how this plays out. Somber says this. So, or does Junie like the snow, Tyrone? Also, let me see right here. Armax says Michael Jordan's Bulls are 6-0 in the NBA Finals. That's true. Somber says McDaniels took the Chargers offensive coordinator job. Tyrone loved the snow yesterday. I took him out, and he was deep in the snow. All I saw was his head. And that's a good thing out of this as well. I mean, as long as you get out and play a little bit in the snow, it might not be as bad. M Sparks says Seattle will win. There's a rookie wide receiver on the team from the Berg, Courtney Jackson, my cousin. Oh, nice, man. Was hoping dumbass Tomlin was going to draft him, just like Pitt failed to recruit him. Somber says, laugh my ass off. That's hilarious. You got to send us a video. See Tyrone frolicking in the snow. I gotta see this video myself. TC says the Chargers just promoted Slowick. Oh, for McAfee. I don't know, Mike. Check into that. I do know that they brought him in last week. Okay, so
yeah,
McDaniel,
Mike McDaniel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the Chargers OC. Yeah, it was official today. He signed pen to paper.
What is the Slowick news? If you could just look that up real quick, just so we can kind of smooth that out. Jonathan Harvey, I do want to say welcome to the terrible. Okay. Jonathan Harvey, welcome to the terrible board. Always great to see new faces. Welcome to the show. He says this Mike McCarthy is the right decision. Art doesn't like rebuild, so McCarthy is not a rebuild hire to him, but a hire to improve what is present. And you know what? That really makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because in my opinion, he's not that different of a coach than Mike Tomlin was. Offensive minded, yes, but a lot of things, results, statistics, numbers, their career, everything is almost neck and neck. So, you know what? That's that theory certainly holds water. Christopher says, guys, we got the East-West Shrine Bowl tomorrow and the Senior Bowl on Saturday. We still have free agency in the draft. 13 picks, guys. We will get much better. And absolutely. And this is still the earliest stages of all this. We're still in January, guys. And again, we still have a lot to learn on what's going to go down with the Steelers football team. Somber says, I thought McDaniels was conquer. I thought he was too. I'm not real sure. Mike is looking into that.
Yeah, so here it is. Yeah, McDaniels signed his contract with the Chargers, and then the Dolphins just promoted Bobby Slowick to their offensive coordinator. He was an offensive coordinator for the Texans in Stroud's rookie year, then bounced around to the Dolphins, and then got promoted to their offensive coordinator today.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he saw the Dolphins and read it as the Chargers or something. It happens to me all the time. Somber says, guess not. Tortilla says maybe McDaniel was about to take a head coaching job. I don't know. Jeremy says this. Will Howard is from Pittsburgh, also like Mike McCarthy. Where'd it go? Moved on me again. moved on me right here. So I feel he's going to get extra. Is he? Where is Will Howard from? Is he from here? I didn't know that. Tyrone says, yeah, I will. I was mad and was charging my phone, shaking my head. Had me crying, bro. He's funny. Somber says 30 minutes ago, Mike McDaniel to the Chargers official. All right. Thank you for that. Lindsay says Howard is from PA, not from Pittsburgh. Gotcha. Tortilla says, we're building the Yinzer Avengers. Armac says, where is Greenfield compared to downtown? It is east. It is east compared to downtown. Steel Gang, Tyrone. Somber says, okay, with Junie. Armac says, similar to Denver hiring Sean Payton, Matt Williams. And that's another thing I thought, too. It can be comparison to the Sean Payton hiring again, but it would have to make you say, okay, well, maybe it's just the new energy, the new blood. Sometimes that can make a difference. And again, we see it in all of our sports here in Pittsburgh, as every single Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup came off the back of a new coach. Everyone. Every time they get a new coach, they go to the Cup, which makes me think that they're in the running again this year. But again, sometimes that new energy goes a long way. We're going to see it in all three of our sports this year, in baseball, football, and hockey, as all three have new head coaches going into their new season. So it's going to be interesting to follow that theory out. M. Sparks says this, so glad Tomlin finally went Greyhound. Smell you later, looking towards to the next chapter. Mark Malone, McCarthy can actually run a great offense. The other two, not so much. All right. Georgianne, hey, great seeing you. Always great seeing Georgianne on the terrible board. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you stayed warm. Lindsay says, yeah, we'll get ready for some more mediocrity. Yay, so excited. John says this, the NFC game last night was the new NFL. You're right. If you want a blueprint of how you want to build your team to move forward, you should have watched the NFC game last night. It was very there was a lot of what you've seen that is just the direction of the game is going. And a lot of these young coordinators being involved, I think, is a big part of that. Jeremy says this, our offense is going to be fire, but I just hope he picks the right DC. M. Sparks, I'm excited for my you know why I'm excited about this pick? I hated not knowing. I hated not knowing who our coach was going to be. I mean, there's always that angst. There's always the anxiety. There's all, now that I know, I'm kind of settled in a little bit. Again, I really felt that we could have went a different route, and I'm just kind of curious. Is it what some people are saying, that, we just don't have the facility. We just don't do this. We just don't pay out a lot of money to coordinators. Ugh. I hope it's not that, because if it's that, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we're not playing good because we're being cheap. I don't like the fact that we're not they're making the right moves because we're cheap. If that's ultimately the problem, that's a big problem. But if it was made on for other reasons, I'm willing to accept it. But again, you had the biggest opportunity to make a change in the Steeler football team. Being, again, coaches haven't left. Every coach averages about 20 years, give or take. So you had an opportunity to make a change to catch up with the league, in a sense. I just hope it's not because they're being cheap. That would be the worst reason for me. Again, I can't stand behind that in a league that we always give the Pirates hell because they don't pay money. This would make them no better than the Pirates if that be the case. And I hope that's not why things went the way they were. And they do have a grand scheme, a grand plan, and things work out for the better. But I guess we'll have to see. Let's move on here a little bit. Again, guys, awesome on the board. Thank you so much for all the feedback, all the comments, messages, guys. I think they're amazing. Every single one of them. Let me jump in right here. Let's break the comment record today. You guys are killing. I got to be honest. I don't know what it is, but I do know that it is moving. It is moving good, because when I go to get my the mouse, when I go to get, where I'm trying to find where I am, it's always way down at the bottom, and I keep having to scroll down just to even get to it. So you guys are killing it. Keep them coming. Again, if I don't get to them, I will see them all eventually, and I thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Your Steeler Nation, baby. There's never any disappointment when it comes to Steeler Nation. Sometimes with the team, sometimes with the ownership, but you guys, that's the one common through it all. Steeler Nation, baby. We're here with our terrible towels, bleeding black and cold every inch of the way. Let's take a moment to step away and look at how the Super Bowl is going to play out, guys. Of course, it is the Seattle Seahawks, who was the number 1 seed in the NFC. It is the New England Patriots, the number 2 of the AFC. Two quarterbacks that I liked from the beginning. I like Drake May, and I also like Sam Darnold. I think it should, in theory, be a good Super Bowl. However, I think the Seattle, pound for pound, should just be better than New England and should just be able to win. However, you can't look past the New England Patriots. Again, these guys, they win a lot of football games. And again, under this new coach, Mike Vrabel, it wouldn't surprise me if they could pull it off. And that is the last thing I want, guys. I want to see the 6-6 Super Bowl Patriots. I want to see them have a saturated record because they have just as many losses as they have wins. Oh, but Ryan, they've been to 12. Isn't that better? No, it's not better. If you go and lose, it's terrible. We lost twice, and it's terrible. I don't want to tell anybody about it. And if you have as many losses as you have wins, I mean, what would the Yankees look like if they were 27-27 in the World Series? I don't know what they are, but or the Lakers or the Celtics. You know what I mean? It saturates it a little bit. And again, I think that works in our favor, just as far as perception goes. Maybe not many other things, but again, that's a lot of losses in the Super Bowl. Again, do we celebrate Buffalo and their 4 losses in a row? No, you don't. So this is kind of saturating them a little bit, and I like that. So if New England could lose to Seattle, that would be fantastic. That's going to be how my pick goes when we get to that point. Let me take a look what else we got going on here. Scores yesterday were this. The early game, of course, New England, that game got snowy real quick out of nowhere. Third quarter, it was still clear out after they got a certain point in the third quarter. The field, the screen, everything was covered in snow. Patriots win that game 10-7. Again, I got to say, Sean Payton not going for that field goal early in the game. Again, would the game been played different because the score would have been different? I don't know, but it would have certainly given them 10 points. And the final count on this game was 10-7. So there's a part of this that comes back to coaching. There's a part of it with this fourth down going for a trend in the NFL. I don't know what this is all about. All of a sudden, everybody wants to be a great fourth down, either conversion team or whatever. It's only working out for a small percentage of teams. I don't know what the big thrill and why everybody put they bet their whole season on it. What does that mean? Their whole season basically got they didn't win because they didn't kick a field goal in field goal range. They decided that listen, it's a team that was on their third string quarterback that didn't play but a kneel down all season against a New England team that was pretty damn good. And you don't take the points. My opinion, shame on you. It's all your fault. You lost this game, and I don't feel bad for them one bit, Mike. I wanted them to win, and I didn't think they were going to win. But you got to point back to going for it on fourth down. You take the points, especially when games are a premium. 2 tough defenses. Come on, you take those points.
Yeah. Now, if you had Bo Nix playing, you go for it because you feel like, okay, the way my defense is playing and the way Bo has played all year, okay, I'm gonna have another chance. But like you said, Stidham hasn't played in 2 years. You kicked the points there. You knew a storm was coming too, so you knew potentially the weather could get bad. Points are at a premium, especially in the playoffs. Get them while you can, like you always say, Ryan. Get it while the getting's good, and he did not, man. That was a huge coaching blunder. I know it's in vogue right now to always go for it on fourth down, but sometimes, man, you just gotta play old school smart football and get the points.
Skylar, I'm just kind of spot picking a couple messages out as I go here. Skylar, I want to say welcome to the show. Skylar says, I'm hoping Pittsburgh drafts Ty Simpson in the draft. That's certainly a name that you've heard go around. Let me just spot pick a couple more of these because again, my cursor just keeps getting further down, and I do. I like to keep up with every message, but sometimes it just it isn't possible. Mark Malone says this: when Yinzer Daddy steps back into the Giant Eagle, it's going to be to Superman going to his home ice castle. Magic shit will begin to happen.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go right here to Stu the bus driver. It could be worse, he says. Also, I do want to say welcome back, Stu. Great to have you. Always great seeing Stu. Tortilla says the blue-eyed white Tomlin. I got on my thing. I just right here. It's the white Tomlin, but he's Dwight version. So that's going to be what I call him here on the show moving forward. He will be Coach Dwight Tomlin. In my opinion, again, I've always said it from the get-go. I haven't changed my tune. Those 3 guys just fall into the same category for me: Tomlin, Harbaugh, and McCarthy. So this is why I'm a bit stunned. I don't know why we stayed on the same level, but there's differences. There is differences. Again, he is an offensive coach, offensive-minded. He has worked with quarterbacks, quarterbacks along the way who were great quarterbacks. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana in his early days, and then, of course, Dak Prescott, who I think leaves a little bit to be desired, but that's just my opinion at the end of the day. So those changes, maybe if they were just a few things that we were off, but again, still a lot needs to happen, guys. Coaches, assistants, coordinators, they're going to be coming in. They're going to be picking, seeing who they like. This whole thing still has to play out. As of right now, we have a head coach. We have the team that we had. Now we're going to see what we could do with it. That is the next steps moving forward. I do also want to say, if you are just coming in, do jump on the poll. Let us know. Was it a good move? Did they make the right move, guys? Yes or no? It's pretty easy. Just click your thoughts. Did the Steelers make the right hire with hiring Mike McCarthy over the weekend, guys? Dwight Tomlin is what I'll call him on the show every once in a while. Let me move forward just a little bit here on the board, and then I want to talk just a little bit more about the Super Bowl, actually. Let's go right here. And Sparks says Mike served Jerry. Let's see what he can do without the hand. And that's the thing that a lot of people always say, too. It's hard to coach under Jerry Jones. You know, it's definitely hard. I mean, you've seen the Jason Garrett era play out and the problems he had with Jerry Jones always running around on the sidelines, being an ass. And so we'll see. We'll see what the difference is. Tater, I have a special thing for you, my man. Great seeing Tater. This is our resident Cleveland Brown fan. For some reason, he keeps coming back. But I do have more for Tater this morning. Yisrael says, well, you didn't want Tomlin. Well, let me get back to that. Tater, I have news for you. I don't know if you came and went or if you're still here or whatever the case is, but Tater, our resident Browns fan, I do want to let him know that the Jaguars offensive coordinator, Grant Udisky, did inform the Browns that he himself is dropping out from the Browns coaching search as well, because I know that Tater comes in and gives us shit about what we're going through. I always got to give it back to Tater a little bit. Just another person that called and said, you know what? I don't think I want this interview for the Browns. And again, they will be hiring from within. I bet you. I can feel it.
They're way to LA to talk to Shaw Haas as we speak.
All these other people who turned down the Browns, do you think Shaw Haas is going to be the one that loves the Browns? If it happens, I'll be surprised.
You know what? It would be funny. The universe has a way of, has a sense of humor, and we don't hire him and he goes to the Browns, and then there's going to be a race to see who's going to be the better coach, him or McCarthy, who's going to have the more success. That would be kind of fun to watch.
Windog says this. He comes in with a smart answer. He says, you get Tomlin first and then bitch about replacement losers. Well, because we talk about football. So instead of talking about that, perhaps we should talk about I don't know, what can we talk about? The snowstorm? I think
Harry
Windog
Buttholes.
Windog, do you want to talk about Harry Buttholes? Because if you do,
I think Windog does.
Windog, any more comments like that on a Windog? We're talking about Harry Buttholes today. I'm just warning you. What do you want us to talk about, Windog? Please, you tell me what we talk about, and I'm going to follow your lead. Please, this will be the Windog Day, Windog Show, Windog podcast. You let me know, Windog, what you feel is fair to talk about, and I'll talk about it. How's that, buddy? Windog, everybody. Lindsay says, who asked you, Windog? Mark Malone says, I bet they knew the quarterbacks would suck the tranny. That is, I bet you couldn't guess who that message came from.
Mark Malone. Him and his trannies.
Mark Malone and the trannies.
I wonder, does Mark have a stable and he he rents them out to guys under, that are trying to go on the down low?
I don't know what Mark's up to.
I
don't ask any questions.
I don't I kind of want to know, but I kind of don't,
Steel Menace says, here we are back in Steeler Purgatory. Great seeing Steel Menace. Steel Menace out in Hawaii. Aloha. Lindsay says, shh, Tater, you only win 3 games. Let's see. Let me scoot up a little bit. Wait, what was Harry Butthole's name? I have to keep my eye open for him just in case he comes up with any more brilliant comments.
I can't remember.
Stu Bus Driver says nobody wants the Cleveland job. Yeah, I don't either. He was very, very unforgettable, very unrememberable. Stu Bus Driver says this: nobody wants that Cleveland job. You know what, Tater? He says FanDuel has the Steelers winning 6.5. Didn't they say that last year? Didn't they have you passing?
Were we supposed to finish dead last?
They had us finishing last year. So Tater, have fun with that. Let me scoot up here a little bit further on the terrible board here. Okay, Tyrone Junior's Ty's dog. That's awesome. I'd like to see some videos of that. Let me scoot up a little bit more. Hire Terrell Hosden back, Cody. Cody, what's up, bro? Always great seeing the Code Dog on the big board. What up, dude? Always great seeing Cody. Howard's over from the Philly side. Gotcha. I didn't know that, but he is
That
a PA
explains a
guy.
lot.
So. Pat Meyer. That's Cody saying. Keep Pat Meyer. Of course, that's Derpy's. Derpy has a connection. I guess his dad grew up with Pat Meyer, apparently. Scoot up a little bit more. RMAC pens do look nice. We get to that at the end of the show. H2P, hell to pit, baby. Absolutely. I'm all about the pit. You know, I'm all about pit. Let's see right here. Tyrone says Lindsay's still recovering from the edible. A couple things about this Super Bowl, guys. We'll get back into the Steeler coach talk shortly, because there's much to say. There really is. And again, the press conference, Mike McCarthy press conference will be tomorrow at 2:00. So tune in here. We will have all the up-to-date, moment by moment information as it is coming out in that press conference, guys. 2:00 tomorrow. Mike McCarthy, his first press conference with the Pittsburgh Steelers as their head coach. A little bit about this team, guys. If you're not thinking that the Patriots have a chance, you might want to think about this for a moment. They beat the number 5 defense Chargers in the first round. They beat the number 1 defense Texans in the second round. They beat the number 2 defense Broncos in the third round. And now they're going up against the number 6 overall Seattle Seahawks defense in the Super Bowl. So if it comes down to playing against a good defense, there's nobody that's more prepared to play against a good defense than this New England team is in the Super Bowl. That's where I think the offenses have to be the difference in this football game. You know Seattle's going to bring the defense. You know New England's got a good defense. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to, I think, what it is that Sam Darnold can do against what it is that Drake May can do. And, of course, I maybe that's obvious. But at the end of the day, Mike, very, very successful against – and this is a team that lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, mind you, this New England Patriots team earlier this year. Matter of fact, these 2 games we played back-to-back, I think, in weeks 2 and 3 to kick off the season, winning against the Patriots and losing by a couple touchdowns to Seattle, beating New England 21-14 and losing to Seattle 31-17, something like that. So these 2 teams are facing off in the Super Bowl. Mike, again, you don't think of New England and think, wow, this team has a great offense. But again, they found their way to get through number 5, number 1, and number 2 defenses. Beating teams with that high defenses is not an easy thing to do. You've seen what happened when we faced the Chargers. It was a total shit show. We just couldn't do anything against a defense like that. Houston Texans, again, total shit show. We couldn't do anything against that defense. Mike, is the New England Patriots good enough? And should people be worried of them getting their 6th Super Bowl championship because of their success against good defenses? And again, the Seattle's defense is 6, albeit that's still lower than 5, 1, and 2 that they just beat to get to the Super Bowl.
On paper, that sounds really, really impressive. But then you go and watch the performances, like against the Broncos, even before the snow got in, their offense really wasn't moving the ball up and down the field. Some poor coaching decisions and playing a backup quarterback helped in that game. Yeah, they did win, but, got to put all the facts out there. And then what previous week playing against C.J. Stroud, turning the ball over 4 or 5 times. I don't see Sam Darnold turning the ball over a lot. The way he was slinging it this week, he looks like, he's no longer seeing ghost out there in the big moments. He was on fire that game. Is one of the best performances I've ever seen out of him. So I think New England, I don't think New England's going to win. I'm going to Seattle right now. But what they did to get there against those defenses was impressive. But you pan out, look, they were gifted some pretty bad quarterback play against, and their offense really didn't put up a whole lot of points in Denver before the snow got there. So Seattle's defense plays the way they did against the Rams. I think they're going to win this game. I don't want to say going away, but I think it's going to be a pretty one-sided type game.
I think it's going to be good, and here's why. Because every football game ends up being good, apparently, except for us, for whatever reason. It seemed like every playoff game this year, maybe with this and then that 28 to whatever it was, that Texans loss, Every other game has been within the point spread range, so I think that this game is going to be no different for that reason. Again, does the NFL make any money if this is a blowout? The blowouts in the Super Bowls kind of seem to be a thing from the past. I think. I don't know unless I'm forgetting some, but anyway, that's really besides the point. I think and I hope that Seattle does win this football game. Of course, I don't want that 7th win going to New England for their 7th Super Bowl. That's a big thing. One thing I also do want to say, guys, we do have a few former Steelers that will be participating in this game. Of course, Cody White. Cody White was a former Steeler. Robert Spillane. I was one of my. I like Spillane. I was a Spillane guy. Call me crazy. And then Josh Dobbs also, as well as Mike Vrabel, being a former Steeler, is the coach of the New England Patriots. So there are some former Steelers to keep your eye on if you are watching. As a Pittsburgher, as everything we do, we spot everything from Pittsburgh on our televisions. It doesn't matter what it is, when it is, who it is, where it is, what it was. It doesn't matter. We see it. We're spotting it. And you will have former Pittsburgh Steelers that are involved, 4 of them, as a matter of fact, in this game. Again, Cody White, Robert Spillane, Josh Dobbs, and Mike Vrabel will all be in this Super Bowl, guys, coming up in 13 days, February 8th, just 2 weeks from yesterday. And so there's a lot of things, guys. Again, the offseason sometimes is just as exciting as the regular season. Yes, you want your black and gold to be playing in 2 weeks. Yes, you want another Super Bowl. Yes, you want to have a reason to wave them towels and cheer. But at the end of the day, if this has to be what it is, this is going to be one of the most eventful off seasons, certainly in my life, guys, being that this only happened twice in my life, of course, when Howard was hired and then again when Tomlin was hired. So now we get to go through it and see, and a lot of the younger guys are going to get to see it maybe for the first time, second time. It's going to be very interesting this offseason. A lot of things are going to happen. Big draft right here in Pittsburgh in 87 days. Free agents, signings, re-signings, guys getting cut. A lot of things that are still going to happen again before we kick things off in September, guys. So it's going to be a wild ride. There's no two ways about that. Let me jump back on the board here. Tortilla says Tater from the United Bing Bong. The United Bing Bong. Does anybody even still know where Tater's from? I thought he was English, and then he went on to tell us that no, there's 5 different countries in the United Kingdom, which I guess as being an ignorant American, I didn't know that. I knew there was other things going. I knew there was a Scotland and an Ireland. I just didn't know the whole system. But Tater again, the resident Browns fan that does come here and for whatever reason hangs out with us. He likes the abuse, maybe, is the only thing that I can think, Mike. So
I don't know, man. I think Tater's lying to us. That's what I'm going with.
Somebody said up the other day, they said they never seen Finch and Tater on the show at the same time.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know that to be true or false, but it was interesting when I read that. Somber says analytics only work if you have the personnel to achieve it. Jump up a little bit here. Cody says this 11-11 in the playoffs is a big 0. Scoot up a little bit more. Don't tell Mark Malone. Don't tell Derby to jump on the pole. I'm not telling Derby to jump anywhere.
Oh, nasty. He's jumping on people.
Somber, is that true? Please tell me that's not. Oh my God, I'll throw up everywhere. Somber says this: Shador has been added to the Pro Bowl as a replacement.
Yes, he has.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not watching now because
at first I thought it was like from a troll account on like one of those, the fake Adam Schefter, the fake Tom Porcello type things, and it turned out it was like from an actual real reporter, and it's been verified.
And the reason I don't like this,
how many quarterbacks turned it down before it got to him?
And here's why I don't like it. This is I'm going to tell you why I don't like Shador Sanders being named to the Pro Bowl team, because he's been given everything. His dad got his number retired at Colorado. He went 6-6 his first year at Colorado. Had a little bit better of a season his second year and before going to pros. His dad got his number retired. And now he's basically being given a Pro Bowl. See what I'm saying? Everything he's accomplished is being given to him. And that's the problem with Shador. Anybody that thinks that it's this, that, or the other, come on. What is this guy? Okay, he's played pretty decent in Cleveland. And that's being nice. He got his college number retired at Colorado. And now he's going to the Pro Bowl. So again, that's why I'm against Shador Sanders going to the Pro Bowl. What else? What else we're going to give the guy? These are the reasons why the league wanted to knock him down a peg or two. because seemed like he was kind of getting that daddy treatment the whole way. Daddy's my coach treatment. And I think that's why the league treated him the way they did. And here he is. We're going to give him a Pro Bowl. So there you go. There you go, Cleveland. You got a Pro Bowl quarterback. And finished last place in the division. But, whatever. Facts. M. Sparks says this. McCarthy and Harbaugh developed that talent 100%. Tomlin, not so much. That is from M. Sparks. We scoot up a little bit here. Steeler Freak says this. Cody, that helps him look at both sides of the ball when snapped. Scoot up. TC says, I'm just listening. People were still on Tomlin. I moved past. Absolutely. What are you going to do? I can't complain about Tomlin anymore. I mean, we can make comparisons and kind of show, how things could maybe or aren't going to be different. But at the end of the day, I got to kind of get over them at some point, guys. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. Mark Malone, Ty says, I'm happy we got an offensive guy. About time. Lindsay says this. He's here for mediocrity. F is the difference. PQ's trash. Tyrone says, great food in Pittsburgh, Cody. M. Sparks says, damn, got to shovel the driveway. Got to make a run running out of everything. It looks like he has there on the terrible board. But again, guys, Pittsburgh Steelers hire their new head coach on a 5-year deal. Greenfield Zone, Mike McCarthy. Of course, he was the coach in Green Bay when they did beat us in the Super Bowl. I think what's happening, Mike gets kicked out for whatever reason. And I'm glad he's doing the producing, because at the end of the day, if he wasn't doing the producing and he wasn't knowing why he was getting kicked out, so he kind of gets himself back in. So if you're wondering what's going on the screen, that just continues to keep happening. He's having some kind of an issue with his computer. We're trying to get that straightened out. So I apologize for the repulsive large picture that you have to see here for the next few, as Mike does get things set up on his end. But let me move on the board. Mike did say this. He says, Cody, you're the agent of chaos. What else do we got here on the board? Puff pass at M. Sparks says, absolutely, at Cody. Tyrone says, take TJ's whole check. Let me scoot up a little bit more. Mark Malone says, we got one of our tight ends back. We did sign Galbraith. I did see that as well. TC, Bill should have kept Diggs. Might have made a big difference. Again, Pittsburgh Steelers did hire a new coach, guys. That happened over the weekend. Maybe you missed it. Maybe you didn't. The fact of the matter is this. The Steelers did hire Mike McCarthy, the former Green Bay Packer Super Bowl champion head coach, and the Dallas Cowboy head coach, does get hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 5-year deal. Do throw up your opinions, throw up your thoughts on the poll, guys, as you come in. There was a poll asking you, did the Steelers make the right move? Did they not? Whatever you think, let us know. We will get those results out to you here real soon as the show starts to wrap up. A couple other things going on, guys. You know what? Let's stick with this. We have to stick with this. There's no reason to talk about anything else. Again, the three big things over the weekend. The Super Bowl is set. The New England Patriots are going back. They have to lose. Listen. We were in a position to at least still be in the race with this, the big picture, having the most Super Bowl championships overall overall in the league. And now New England is getting that opportunity to pass us. Again, at one point they had 0 and we had 4. Now they're having an opportunity to pass us this year. We hope that don't happen, but we do know that the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks will be facing off on February 8th, guys, 13 days from today in Super Bowl 60 to see how that plays out. Of course, the other big news, the Mike McCarthy hire for the head coaching position here in Pittsburgh. And finally, the third leg of the big news, which again might not be big to many people, but it's big to me because of our derpy. The fact that Ohio State did hire, guys, you don't have to worry about it. Mike McCarthy will not be bringing back Arthur Smith, as Arthur Smith was hired by Ohio State. That's right. The great Ohio State Buckeyes do have a new offensive coordinator, and his name is Arthur Smith. There you go. So those 3 things for me throughout the weekend, plus the snow. Certainly it kept you busy. Over the weekend. And don't forget tomorrow night, we do have the Shrine game, the Shrine Bowl. And then Saturday, we will be watching the Senior Bowl as well to get one last look at these guys as they start preparing and getting ready for the draft process. We have the Combine will be coming up in no time. We'll be able to watch the kids then. Also, a lot of steps along the way. Building up to this draft is 87 days away. right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have a pocket full of picks. And again, this story is just now starting to be written. It is just now, people can say, geez, this is done. I'm done with this team, as a lot of people are saying. And I think they're out of their mind because of the head coach that was signed. There's still many steps along the way, guys. We could put together something that could look beautiful on opening day. So don't bail out just yet, man. It's very, very early in the process, very early in the off season for us. And again, only one team is going to hoist the Lombardi. So if you really feel that we failed, if we're no good, just remember, only one team gets to hoist that trophy every year, and it's not an easy thing to do. Let's focus on moving forward, figuring out what it is we got to do, who we got to get hired as coordinators, assistants, coaches, everything else to put a team together. And again, the building process. Who knows what the offensive coordinator is going to want to do? Who knows what the defensive coordinator is going to want to do? Who knows what any assistant? So there's a lot of things that are still going to happen, guys, between now and when we do kick it off in September. So again, for the people that are bailing, saying I'm done with this team, I'm switching teams, I've seen people say, I think that's crazy, and it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning, guys, of the process, and I'm here for it. Let me jump on a couple more messages on the terrible board. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up with all of them today. I do apologize. You guys know that, but do let me stay up to date as much as I can. I'll try my best to do that. Let me go right here. I'm going to go to Celeste. Celestin Gang, welcome to the terrible board. Reading the comments, you think they just hired Methuselah. Remember, Harbaugh is 63, and everyone thinks he is great. Is a great hire for the Giants. Well, I don't know if he's a great hire for the Giants, but he's very Tomlin-like and very McCarthy-like. But again, I agree. Let's watch this play out. Yes, opinions are going to come out. Yes, people aren't going to be happy. Yes, people are going to express themselves, and it's fine. That's why it's wonderful to be an American. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't love John Harbaugh. I thought he got passed by, just as Coach T did, just as Coach M did. Didn't the league kind of pass these guys by? Didn't things continue to change as they continued to stay the same? Didn't they all three have the same track record? All basically the same amount of time coached? All basically the same record, all basically the same playoff record, all basically the same amount of Super Bowl wins. So again, I am intrigued by the offensive aspect of what we're going to get from Mike McCarthy. But at the end of the day, I really feel in a whole, those three guys, I've been clumping them together for a month now. Tomlin, McCarthy, and Harbaugh. So again, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of things have to happen before they even kick the ball off in September. I don't know what Mike's issues are with his computer, but things are bouncing around on my end, and hopefully we can make it here for the last part of the show, guys. But let me keep moving on the board here a little bit. Lindsay saying Daddy might have paid for that Pro Bowl. Again, how many more things are you going to give? Let the guy accomplish something for once, please, so people can make an opinion. You know what people are going to say about Shedeur Sanders down the road? He was a Pro Bowler. He made the Pro Bowl game. He got his number retired out of Colorado. You see how silly that is? Do you see how silly that is? I know people from Colorado that were 100 times better than Shedeur Sanders. Eric Bieniemy being one. Running back in the early 90s, were number one. He went to the national championship, won 10-9. Him for one, I think right off the top is better than Shedeur Sanders. And a handful of other guys. A guest on our show, Chad Brown, former inside linebacker for the Steelers. Even he had a better career at Colorado. Cordell Stewart had a nice Hail Mary, a pretty famous play back in the day in Colorado. Even Cordell, I'd say, belongs ahead of Shedeur Sanders. But hey, you had to retire Deion Sund's number. That's all I'm saying. And that's the only reason. Give me one good reason why his number is retired in Colorado, please. Steeler Freak says, this preseason and Pro Bowl or bookend jokes. You're right. And again, I keep sticking up for this Pro Bowl games, this flag football, this two-hand touch, this tutu ballerina, whatever it is that they're doing now. But I don't know how much more I could do, guys. That is so watered down. And at the end of the day, people say, well, they're going to get injured. Well, they are football players. And you know what? It is a football game, albeit an exhibition. It's a football game. What these guys have signed up to play. They know they're playing football. I just want to throw that out there. They realize that. They've only been doing it their whole lives. And again, I don't know why the watering down. Well, they get head injuries. Well, again, it is football. You either like it or you don't. You're either in or you're not. You want millions of dollars to play the game that you love? You might have to hit somebody every once in a while, for F's sake. Come on. That's just my opinion. I don't like the way that this Pro Bowl is played out, but got to protect everybody, even in football. Scoot up here a little bit. Steel Loyal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Steel Loyal. Why on the earth is Shador in the Pro Bowl, he asks. What a question. What a question. Same reason Ty Huntley was in the Pro Bowl a couple years ago. He played 2 games when Lamar was out. I don't know if it was 2, but he played a handful of games when Lamar was out, and Ty Huntley ended up being on the Pro Bowl team that year. Same thing, but at the end of the day, you're going to say, well, you know what? Ty Huntley was a Pro Bowl player, which is BS. He wasn't a Pro Bowl player. Why not put Mason Rudolph? He played a game. Put Mason Rudolph as the backup in the Pro Bowl. Say he was a Pro Bowl player. I mean, come on, you might as well.
Like I put in the comments, did like every AFC quarterback just die? Is that how they got to him?
It must be. And still has right here.
Like everyone had to be like, no, we ain't going. No, I don't want to go. No,
well, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And Still Loyal says seven
Yeah.
touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Shador Sanders going to the Pro Bowl. And again, that will always be brought up because, again, the Browns are pathetic like that. And, of course, Deion's son is getting what he wants and is exactly why he was being treated by the league the way that he was. In case you're wondering, that is exactly why things went the way that it did for him. I'm just saying, tell me where I'm wrong. Steeler Freak says, I'm not bailing. Time is money. I am getting cheap like Rooney and spending less on the team. And you know what? And that's the only way to express yourself. Do it vocally. And if vocally don't work, stop giving them your money. That's the bottom line is what is understood the most. Let me scoot up just another bit here. M Sparks says Lil Prime in Pro Bowl, good for PR move. I guess. I guess if they want people to tune in to that pathetic exhibition next weekend, and maybe it's a name. Hey, let's check it out. Prime's son is playing. Deion's son. But you got to understand that's all it is. That is literally all it is. Let's scoot up here. Lindsay says, I would rather have the other Sanders kid. Shiloh Sanders, correct? TC. So Al Harris is going to be the defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. I don't know. Al Harris, what is this? Is that Mike Al Harris? Look at this. Tater says he smells jealousy. It's probably I'm going to guess it's your upper lip because you are English, and you again. I'm just going to move on. It's probably your upper lip that you smell. Let me go here. I just imagine people from Britain have bad breath. I just do. Steel Loyal says I wouldn't be mad at Al Harris. He had the Chicago Bears. Okay, so he's from the Chicago Bears defense. Is that what I'm learning? Mike, if you can let me know what's going on with Al Harris. It's coming up a couple times on the board, and maybe if I'm missing something, I would like to talk about it. Mike, check out Al Harris, if you will. Tortilla says this, Shador's worse than Colin Kaepernick. I didn't think Colin Kaepernick was that bad of a quarterback. I mean, he did take him to the Super Bowl, you know. Steeler Freak says this just in, Ben Gay Slay made the Pro Bowl. What else? What else we got here? I'm catching up on my board and I don't know what to do with myself. Now I have to go back and read some that I didn't read. Jolly said, sorry, my edibles kicked in. I finally pushed my way all the way to the top, and now I got to go back because I thought that there was more. Well, there's plenty. I'm just saying it was my mistake. I'm not familiar with where I'm at in the whole board here. Let me go right here. Mark Malone, Cordell was way better than Stan. Absolutely he was. Cordell Stewart in Colorado was way better than Shador Sanders. Again, I don't know. It pays to be Prime's son. Lindsay said I would rather have the other one. We scoot down. We'll grab a couple more of these guys as we are starting to, I don't know, we're approaching third. I don't want to say we're rounding third just yet. I'm going to go to Tortilla. He says this. Rooney said it. He was willing to run it back with Tomlin, and everyone said he was fired behind closed doors. Does this hire not prove he was actually willing to? No, I think, listen, I think that the way that it played out was certainly by design. because again, there's a lot of respect I think that the Rooneys want Tomlin to leave with, and they want him to be respected. And you know what? The guy coached 19 years, and albeit the latter success wasn't there, and not ever having a losing record isn't the best thing to ever do, but it is an accomplishment. So at the end of the day, I think there was mad respect between all the parties. I know people wanted Tomlin gone, but at the end of the day, I think they wanted to keep it a clean breakup. I think the Steelers wanted to keep it a clean breakup. I think that Tomlin wanted to keep it a clean breakup. And you knew that this conversation was, in fact, coming after the season. It was said, weeks back, a month back, that they were going to talk about these kind of things once the season was over. I think the only thing that I think people weren't expecting was it happened so fast. It literally came a day after they lost to Houston on Monday night. And I think that was the big surprise. I don't think the way that it went down was a surprise at all. I think it was done in a way that everybody could respect, be respectful. Say we did appreciate you. I don't think they wanted to fire Mike Tomlin at the end of the day. I just think that the fans wanted a little bit more than what this coach was doing and has been doing for quite a few years. So ultimately, I think that it was coming, and I think that it was ultimately in a way by design. I don't think that they wanted. I don't think anybody wanted a messy breakup. I think the fans would have been okay with it, but at the end of the day, I think the Steelers organization, they do always try. They try to represent themselves with being classy, a classy organization. I think they do an okay job at that, and I think ultimately that's why things did play out the way that they did play out. Again, a little quicker than I expected it, but that I think it was all by design, not as a secret, not as we're going to no, just kind of by the way that it played out. It seems like it was the way that it probably should have went. TC said, "Okay, Mike, any more on Al Harris? I want to know a little bit more about Al Harris, as it has been brought up a couple times on the board. Chicago defense is one thing that I've gathered. I don't know much about Al Harris, Mike. Tell me why. Tell me a little bit, and why people are bringing him up. Is there anything going on?"
Yeah, he's been talked about a lot because he played for McCarthy in Green Bay, started coaching, and then went on to Chicago, where he's their defensive coordinator or defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator. His name has been heating up a lot ever since McCarthy took the job. It's because of the links there, and I haven't looked at Chicago's defensive rankings to see if this would be a good hire or not. But yeah, he's the new hot name out there now that McCarthy was named head coach to take a look at for D coordinator. But outside of that little info, I haven't gathered a whole lot of intel on him just yet to make a informed decision if it will be a good move or not. But he's young, up and coming. Wouldn't be surprised if they give him a shot.
All right. Hey, I'm willing to give. At this point, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. You hear little bits of things you like. You hear little bits of things you don't like. You're like, oh, that don't sound good. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that would work. But at the end of the day, we don't know. And I'll certainly be doing my research on him today, learning a little bit more about Al Harris. As again, I'm seeing his name popping up on the board multiple times today. I wasn't quite sure if there was something happening right now that I didn't know about, that I wasn't catching, or beyond that. But I certainly will be putting in my due work to figure out what in the world we do have with this Al Harris news. Again, this name, in my opinion, I've heard it before, but to what extent I don't recall, to what capacity I don't recall. But again, Al Harris, something to keep in mind. I'll probably be talking a little bit more about that tomorrow as I do learn a little bit more about the gentleman. And as we do start to search, certainly now that the Rams are done, that could make this process go a little faster as we do try to find the coordinators, assistant coaches, things of this capacity moving forward. So it's gonna continue. The domino effect has started, guys, and the fact that they did get Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh Mike, Dwight Tomlin, mediocre Mike 2.0. We can now move to the next steps of the process, guys, and figure out what kind of coordinators, assistants, people like this we're going to have involved, and kind of give you an idea of what kind of team they're going to want to have and what kind of ideas they want to do moving forward with this team, Mike.
Yeah, and do you think the Rams playoff run where their defense, Shula's defense, has given up 27 to 32 points on average these past 5 or 6 games down the stretch? Do you think that's going to sour a lot of people on him as a head coach going forward, or as a D coordinator that's on the rise that other teams might try and poach?
You know what, it might. You know what? What the thing is about people, once they get something in their head, it's hard to change their mind. So if people are just stuck on the fact that they would love to have Don Shula's grandson, Chris Shula, and he was a defensive coordinator on a team that has been playing well under the McVay tree, blah, 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 blah. It's hard to then change their mind because it sounds so good and it sounds like the best case scenario. But again, at the end of the day, if those what you're saying, like it goes into play, maybe that will affect it, and maybe it could ultimately help us in a sense where somewhere he might have been interested in going might not be that interested in him and
Yeah.
allowing us to grab. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next? As I said, this is exciting as the regular season. You're not getting to see the hits. You're not getting to see the favorite players. You're not getting to see the scores, the wins, the towels. But at the end of the day, this offseason stuff is just as important and sometimes just as fun to see what's coming down the pike next, what it's going to be, the next steps are going to be. Are those the shortcomings of the Steelers are we going to be able to change those things to get back to what we all love, and that's winning football games. Don't get me wrong, 10-7 and making the playoffs is not a bad season. However, I think fans are just ready to move forward, get back in the hunt. I want to see teams I want to see seasons like where we get excited about the next team that we have to play in the playoffs. It's been so long since we even had that feeling. I want to be in a situation where I'm feeling, okay, the playoffs start. Let's see if we can make the Super Bowl run. All those things are what I think the Steeler fans are truly ultimately missing, and they want back so bad, and they need back. And I think that we're going to learn a little bit more and more and more about this team every day, and hoping to get back to those days, Mike. And again, if it was just the changing of the name and bringing somebody in who's basically the same kind of solid coach that Cowher is, but with an offensive mindset, it's going to be different. But so ultimately, what's the end result, Mike? Is that going to be different? And that's ultimately what we all want to know, because we want, again, it's not good what's been happening for 10 years. Again, not winning a playoff game for Pittsburgh. This is the longest period in the history of the Super Bowl era. The Steelers have not won a playoff game. We want to get back on the right track, and I don't think, Mike, wanting to get back on the right track is a bad thing. And I think Mike would agree with me. I don't know where he is, but I do know that he's having issues with his computer in the studio. So I'm going to move forward here. Just spent Somerset just spent $473 on 47 items on Instacart. I thought y'all should know. I am going to sleep a lot better now that I do know that. Somber, let me do see. Also, Somber did say this: Patrick Graham's defense in 2023 per Steelers DB, 9th in EPA play, 11th in points per drive, 17th in success rate. This is the newest name in the DC rumor mill, guys. So Patrick Graham, and Al Harris, a couple names that I learned about today on the board. Certainly familiar with them names to capacity, but not entirely. So I will dig into those later on as well, try to figure out what it is and who it is. And we don't know. Maybe they have somebody in mind. Maybe they'll have somebody hired by the end of the day. Or maybe we'll start hearing about interviews and, the Schulhasses and the Scholas and these guys are going to start showing up in town for interviews. Again, we just don't know. And we are, we're ready. We're ready to move forward. We're ready to win. And again, I will give him a chance, just as I give everybody a chance. And they're our guy. He's our guy. And I said it every year. Last year, I listen. I didn't want Aaron Donald as much as anybody when the news first came up. But as the season came along, he was my guy, and that was what we had to roll with. One other thing about him: if we're going to play the song and dance with Aaron Rodgers for the next 6 months, I don't even want that. Mike, can you hear me? Yeah, I don't see him. I don't know what's going on with him. My problem with that is if we sit here and play this song and dance with Aaron like we did last year, that's a bunch of BS. We could be moving forward, making moves, grabbing people, switching things around, making just doing things. Again, I don't have enough patience in me to do this song and dance with Aaron Rodgers for the next 6 months like we did last year, like we did with Brandon Ayuk the year before. It's time that we get an idea of what we want to do and move forward, guys. The song and dance is done. It's time to move on. We got a new coach. Love him or hate him, he's in place. Where we be? Can you still hear me on the board? Lindsay, I see Lindsay saying you love the Browns. Still loyal, LeBron James. A lot of LeBron talk again. I assume that everybody can hear me. I don't have Mike to tell me because I don't know where he's at. But anyway, I'm going to continue forward here, guys, as we do go. Now we are starting to round third on the show, and this is just where we be. Okay, still, thank you, sir. My man. Still loyal. Can I get him on the payroll? Can I get Steele over here somewhere? None of my people are. Let me move on. So there it is, guys. 5-year deal. Mike McCarthy, former Dallas. Thank you, Georgianne. Former Dallas, former Green Bay coach. And again, we're moving forward, I think, or sidewards, or whatever the hell that was that that Stidman's pass did off his hand that was called a fumble, that was originally called an incomplete pass, that was picked up by the defense and ran in for a touchdown, but it wasn't a touchdown because maybe we're moving in that direction. I don't know. I don't know which direction we're moving, but I do know that things are happening and moves are being made. And guys, just 2 weeks out from the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers played a football game. Of course, we did play the Houston Texans on Monday night just 2 weeks ago. Here we are, new head coach. And things are moving in a whole nother direction. So we're going to learn a lot about this team, guys. Big offseason. I can't say it enough. Mike, do let me know when you can hear me because it's going to kind of there it is. Tech issues. Don't want to try anything that will end the show. Got to ride solo. All right, it's cool. I do appreciate you letting me know on that. Steeler Freak says this. Derpy just woke up and is effing with the sound again, and Mike is on it. They like to see Ryan melt down for kicks. That I agree with. Oh, my God. Yes, I agree with 100%. That is what's probably going down. Let me grab a couple more here as we are kind of at that point, guys. Let me say this. M Spark says, we good with Mike for now. Mama's boys, shut up, and sit on them pockets and watch our team win, baby. That's right. Again, I thank you. I mean, a lot of messages on the board today, guys. All are certainly appreciated, and all will be read. I promise you that. Tyrone, he says, I want Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris, of course, former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Another name that could be a possibility, certainly. I'm just going to kind of randomly grab spot a couple of comments and read them. Steel Loyal says this on one positive thing I could say about McCarthy is he knows how to develop quarterbacks. Maybe, just maybe, he could help us get out of quarterback purgatory. And that's what we need. It all starts with your quarterbacks, man. It all starts with quarterbacks. And these two guys that are in the Super Bowl are two people that I would have loved to have in the past. I certainly am on record saying that. I was going to pass it over to Mike to tell you a little bit about the website, but I'm going to do it myself today, guys. Do check out our website over at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things going on over there. Mike does do a lot of work over on the website. He has his dumb thoughts. He has links for every show of the Two Dum Yinzers, also the contact information, and even this sharp logo right to my left here. If you like the fist logo, a lot of cool things over on the website with that logo. Want to go check it out at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. What else, guys? Let's get into the trivia part of the day, guys. This is a Super Bowl trivia question. Super Bowl trivia question, guys. Here we go. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. This is the question of the day. Here we go. How many Super Bowl rematches will the Patriots have played after this Super Bowl? In other words, how many rematches have the Patriots played in their Super Bowl history? How many rematches? Like the Steelers played the Cowboys. We have one Super Bowl rematch. How many Super Bowl rematches have the New England Patriots had, guys? Include this one. Throw your answers up on the board if you think you know it. Maybe if you just want to take a guess, don't look it up. See what you say. How many Super Bowl rematches have the Patriots been involved with, guys? As again, they are playing Seattle this weekend, or I'm sorry, in 2 weeks. This weekend being the Pro Bowl games, Shrine Bowl tomorrow, Senior Bowl Saturday. All kind of stuff going on. Football season is far from over. It never really ends, guys. It never really ends. The question of the day is this: how many Super Bowl rematches have the Patriots had, including this one, guys? So make sure you put this one in there. Tater is saying 3. Tortilla. Tortilla is saying 3. Georgiana is saying 8. Tyrone 3. TC says 3. Somber says no clue. I'll guess 4 since 3 is taken. Throw your guesses up there. Again, also on the board, Mike, if you can let me know what the results on that poll is, that would be fantastic. You can shoot me through a message or on the board if you'd like. Still Loyal says this too many. We'll all be Seahawk fans next week. You're damn right. You're damn right we will be. F them Patriots, baby. Again, how many Super Bowl rematches will the Patriots have played in, including this Super Bowl? So how many times have they had a rematch? A lot of different answers on the board. 3s, 8s, 4s, too many. Throw it up there. Let's see if anybody could grab that. Okay, you know what? I have the results. So out of 84 people that did vote on the poll when they came in, the question was, did the Steelers make the right hire? Of course, Mike McCarthy being hired over the weekend as the Steelers' new head coach. 54% say no, and 46 say yes. So that's really close. I didn't know if I expected it to be that close. So all right, they got our attention. I think it's safe to say. Steeler Freak says, how many cheeseburgers did Mike McCarthy eat at the Steelers versus Seahawks Super Bowl halftime? Steel Loyal says the answer is yes. TC says Giants and Seahawks. Mike said he was typing it out loud. Guys, again, give you just another moment. How many, when this one's said and done, so you got to include this one, how many Super Bowl rematches have the Patriots had is the question of the day. I'm going to read M. Sparks' comment, and I'm going to give you the answer, guys. M. Sparks says that's okay. All of the young, know-nothing mama boys who probably never played basketball, day in their life, in their lame life, little lives, thinks James is the GOAT. LeBron, of course, I think that they're going on there. Going out, and guys, here it is. Question of the day. How many Super Bowl rematches have the Patriots been in? Again, include the one that they're in now. The answer, they did it with Seattle. Of course, that's going to happen in 13 days. They did it with the Rams. Remember the greatest show on turf. Tom Brady comes out of nowhere for an injured Drew Bledsoe to beat the greatest show on turf, and the 13-3 win over the Rams, the Jared Goff-led Rams a few years back. Seattle, the Rams, the Eagles. They played the Eagles twice. And finally, the Giants, of course, most famously for Eli Manning's wins over Tom Brady. The answer to the question, guys, how many Super Bowl rematches has the New England Patriots played, including this week or this coming game, is 4. Seahawks, Rams, Eagles, Giants. That is the correct answer, guys. Great job. If you got it on the terrible board, 4 different rematches. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And I think the Steelers and the Cowboys are the only team to do it 3 times. I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was at one point. There were so many San Frans and Kansas Cities and all these things happened over the past 5 years. I don't know if that changed, but I do know that we were the only team that had a three-peat, if you will, with a team. And that was Dallas and Pittsburgh in the 70s twice, and then again in 1995-96 football season. Vanilla GBT over there. Tortilla, I like it. What else do we got? We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube. I also want to say this. If you haven't had a chance yet, do swing by and check out any of our social media, guys. We're all over the internet. You can check us out at Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even on TikTok. Guys, go over and hit the follow button. Keep up with what's going on with the Two Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. And if you haven't had a chance yet, do click the like button down below. Hit the like, sub, share, or even leave a comment. It all helps in the algorithm. We all appreciate it all greatly. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab a few more comments, guys, as we start to wrap up the show for the day. Again, a lot of big news going down over the weekend. We do have a Super Bowl set. Super Bowl 60 is set, and in 13 days, we're going to be watching the Seattle Seahawks, hopefully taking down the New England Patriots for us, guys, not allowing them to get that 7th Super Bowl win. They'll put us behind. Again, those 6 losses, it kind of saturates things for me. It doesn't make New England, it makes New England look a little less impressive if you have 6 losses to go along with your 6 wins. And people will say, well, at least they got there. Again, do you give that to Buffalo for winning 4 in a row? I don't think that you do. I like this. I like them to continue to lose and saturate their wins as we still sit here with our 6-2 record, and hopefully we could gain on that here eventually with some of these changes we made. That's fingers crossed on that one, guys. As again, a lot of changes getting ready to happen with our Steelers. So whatever we've seen last year, it's going to be different. People were saying it's more of the same, but it's going to kind of entirely be different. So it's going to be interesting if it's the same. And that's going to open a new can of worms when it comes to questions and trying to figure this team out. So many things, guys, are going to change between January playoff game this season and when the season kicks off in September this year. And you know what we're here for? We're going to follow it every step of the way, and hopefully our Pittsburgh Steelers can get back on the right track and win in January. A lot of people are counting us out. Oh, Mike McCarthy, they're going to win 3 games. 3 games they're going to win. It's going to be terrible. I think that's crazy talk. I don't think that we're going to win 3 football games. I believe we're going to do just fine. I think we'll land on our feet. Am I saying we're going to be landing in the Super Bowl? Things like no, of course not. We have a long way to go, and steps need to be made to get there. But at the end of the day, I do think that we are in position to win in January, and maybe start building and moving a little further. And again, it's going to be a lot is going to go into these new hires, guys. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, what they want to bring to the table, what it is they bring to the table. It's going to be exciting. So it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a whole lot of different, maybe the same in a way, not really, kind of, but sort of. We hope not. Any way you slice it, we want to win football games, and we want to win them in January when it matters, guys. And that's what I think is the next step for a Steeler team. And we'll see if we can do that under the guise of our new head coach, Dwight Tomlin. That's right, Dwight Tomlin. And the thing is, if you think that this is just being a corny joke, I've been saying this the whole time. Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, and John Harbaugh, they all fit under the same category for me. They have for years. They have, again, the same track record, roughly the same amount of seasons, roughly the same record, roughly the same playoff record, roughly the same Super Bowl record. So again, there's nothing that tells me Mike McCarthy. There's nothing that tells me Mike McCarthy will be a lot different. But again, he has a different style. He's an offensive guy. We need to get the quarterback situation figured out. So for those reasons, if he's here for a couple of years, I know he's on a 5-year, but maybe they have something else up their sleeve. Maybe they have something else up their sleeve. So we'll continue to watch to see who they bring in for coordinators. We don't know, guys. Still so much to this book that needs to be written that is the Pittsburgh Steelers as we do move forward, heading towards Super Bowl 6, the season of Super Bowl 61, guys, as Super Bowl 60 will wrap up this season here in just 13 days. As again, the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots will be going at it out in California for Super Bowl 60. I do want to say this to everybody. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to get through all these comments later. I am going to read them all. We'll let you know tomorrow how many came through. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody that did get on the poll. Those results were in. I don't have it in front of me anymore. It disappeared. Mike might have moved it, but thank you for that as well. Thank you so much for everything, guys. I do want to say thank you. We couldn't do it without you guys. We truly couldn't. I want to say thank you to everybody at home. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the board. You are the lifeblood of this show. So appreciative of the terrible board and everybody at home and everybody that's certainly participating and giving them our time, us their time. You know what I'm trying to say. Two Dum Yinzers. Mike says this is a terrible board rocks. I couldn't agree with you anymore. M Sparks says this Seattle should make sure Russ and Pete don't show up at the Super Bowl. Of course, we remember how that one played out. Just run Marshawn. I'd bring Marshawn Lynch in for one play. I'd sign him for one play just to let him run from the 1-yard line and see how that would play out. Maybe this time they could beat New England. But again, guys, thank you so much, everybody for coming and hanging out with us today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. On the board, at home, on your phone, in the gym, at work, in the car, shoveling snow. Even. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. I can't wait. Again, we do have the press conference, Mike McCarthy's very first press conference coming tomorrow as the Steelers head coach. We have the Shrine Bowl coming tomorrow. Also, that we'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll also get into the search for coordinators and everything else that may come between now and then, guys. So I do want to say thank you one more time for everybody for coming and hanging out. We love you guys. There it is. The poll results are up. 85 votes. 54% said no. 46% says yes. 46 says yes. Ms. Pittsburgh, we thank you so much. She says, great show like always. We appreciate you. We appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. And the only reason I'm going to cut it a little short today is because I know that we got to get out and shovel, and everybody's got to shovel. So that's why we're going to get out and do these things that we just don't want to do. But you know what? We'll be back tomorrow to get ready to do this all over again. And we hope to see you then. For the Two Dum Yinzers, for Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, and the Two Dum Yinzers show. Everybody have a great Monday. Stay safe. Stay warm. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.